Let's talk about relationships for a little bit. My daughter friend is going to join me in just a moment. And even though everybody's not for you and you're not for everybody, there is some special someone who's just waiting to be a part of your life. And this year, in 2024, the world population is estimated to be at 8.2 billion people. So yeah, there's somebody waiting for you. Let's have a chat. Come on in. Hello, beloveds. Welcome. Come on in for a good, comfortable relationship conversation. And here I have with me my daughter friend, Toni.
Hi,
welcome,
everyone.
Toni. We have had a full day. And you know, we always have good conversation. This evening's conversation is all about relationships. And 3 powerful questions or statements I'd like for us to delve into and share with the beloveds.
Let's do it.
Okay, so relationship begin with the BS, which is
Self.
it begins with the big S self, not the little s self. The little s self is the ego self. The big S self is the spirited part of you. So all relationships begin with the big S self. BS.
Yes.
Big S self.
Yes. Not the BS that we normally talk
Yeah,
about.
right. Let's clear that up right now. Not that BS.
Right.
So now, I want a relationship. Where do I begin? Share your thoughts.
You have to first decide what kind of relationship.
Yes.
Because in this world today, there are so many names for relationships. So, do you want a committed relationship? Do you want a poly relationship? Do you want a relationship that leads to marriage? Or do you just want a pleasure partner?
That's a new term. Now, we talked about that earlier today.
Yes.
And I asked you, where did you come up with this name, pleasure partner? And she thought I had said it.
I thought she did.
No, I did not.
We have wonderful conversations.
We do.
I thought it came from her.
It came from your brain.
Yes.
Okay. So what does that pleasure partner mean?
Oh my goodness. It can mean different things to different people.
Okay.
You have to first decide, what does pleasure mean to you?
Right.
And whatever that looks like for you, you can invite someone in to participate with the clear understanding that that's what this is. It's pleasure. And you both have to be aligned to know what pleasure means for the both of you.
Right.
And it's going to look different from one person to the next.
Yeah, give an example of what it might look like.
It could just be somebody you travel with.
Yes.
Somebody you have conversation with.
Exactly.
Do things with.
Yes.
It does not
necessarily go
automatically
to a sexual relationship.
Correct. Because you can have platonic friendships, platonic partners, and there's no physical sex. There could be
no physical intimacy.
Yeah, but you can have energetic sex.
Energetic sex?
Yeah.
Explain that.
Do we want to go into that?
A little bit. It's all part of relationship.
It's just
keep it clean.
The energy can be so intense between two people that you can feel the feelings of as though you have just had physical sex, but you didn't.
Okay. So now we all learned something. I learn something new every day.
Every day. Every day.
I love our conversations. Okay, so ultimately though, any relationship, begins with one's self.
Yes.
Getting to know oneself, spending time with yourself, getting to know what you value.
Date yourself. Like Mama Gigi just said, you have to spend time with yourself. Most people run away from themselves.
Exactly.
So,
they're uncomfortable with
yes,
the quiet.
Correct.
Yes.
So you can't identify what you want in a relationship when you can't relate to yourself.
And sweetie, like I told you before, earlier today, if you don't identify what you value, then you will step over your own values. Then you will allow other people to step over your values, and then you will blame them for upsetting you when it isn't anyone's fault but your own, because you don't know yourself.
Correct.
And you don't know yourself because why? You didn't sit still, getting to know who you are on the inside. You dress up, we all do. We dress up the outside so we look good, feel good from the outside in. But what's most important to have a relationship with anyone else, it begins with you having a good relationship with yourself.
Absolutely.
Your higher self or your big S self.
Yes.
Okay, number 2, any more you want to say about that?
No.
Okay, let's move on to number 2. My significant other doesn't make me feel valued. What do I do? What do you have to say about that?
Well, first and foremost, they cannot make you feel anything.
Right.
We choose how we feel. And I know some people will say, no, but you when you hold true to your power, when you keep your power, then you choose. And it's not until you give that, when you give that power away to someone else, then you have the thought that that person made me this, that person made me that.
And then you play the victim.
Right. But there's
You
no
did
benefit
this to me.
there's no benefit in that.
You hurt my feelings. You made me do this. You made me feel that.
Yeah.
No, there is no benefit.
It's not. True story, my daughter in middle school used to come home and she would say, as kids do, so-and-so made me cry. I said, did they really? Can't nobody make you do that. You chose to cry. So let's unpack why you chose to cry.
What were you feeling?
Yes.
Identify that.
Yes. So even at that age, I was imparting that in her.
Yes.
And there are a lot of adults that have that same verbiage. And it's like, no, can't nobody make
can
you feel nothing.
Feel anything or do anything. You make the choice on your own. Good stuff. Okay, so someone now is in a relationship and it isn't working. What can that person do to get out of the relationship? First, let me say this. If it is a violent relationship, you need to do whatever you can do to keep yourself safe. And I will leave an 800 number in the description below. If it isn't a violent situation and someone just doesn't feel as though the relationship is working for them, Toni, what would you suggest based on your lived experience?
Identify what's not working.
Okay, let me rephrase that. What have you done for yourself in past relationships that didn't work?
Well, I had to, again, identify what wasn't working. There was conversation, things that I felt like that I wanted to see happen, wasn't happening. And there's conversation about that. When you value your relationship that you're in with another person, you have conversations about it.
Yeah.
And it's okay for that person to say, that's not something I can do. And you make the decision to do one or two things. Either you adjust, both of you, or you compromise, but not to the point where you lose your values.
Never.
Or
Yes, I
choose
get that.
to depart. And it doesn't have to be ugly. It doesn't have to be any harshness, because you can walk away as friends.
That is so important to remember. No one has to be angry, fuss, and fight. You can have a civil conversation from one heart to the other. Because remember, you at one time loved this person. And maybe you still do. You just recognize the relationship isn't fruitful. Neither of you are growing in the relationship. And there's no happiness, there's no joy there. So it's an agreed upon situation. I'll speak for myself here. I remember being in a violent relationship and needing to get out. And I found a safe place, first of all, safe people who I knew would support me in doing what I needed to do for myself to get away. And then to do that thing that essentially ended up in my leaving the state so that I would be safe. That's one way, get support. And then in another situation, just recognizing, okay, this isn't working, so let's part as friends. We had a conversation, and my significant other at the time made certain that I was safe in returning home. So there are ways to leave a relationship and still feel that your integrity is intact, your values are intact, and you just move on.
Because you have to understand, like, in relationships, people change and they grow.
People do change.
And relationships shift.
Yes.
And sometimes they can turn and both can go in the same direction. But sometimes that turn may result in two people going in different directions, and that's okay.
That's absolutely okay. Mm-hmm. Through it all, beloveds, be gentle with yourself, and always remember to pray and meditate before you go out to meet the world.
Bye for now.
Beloveds, thank you so much for watching. It just warms my heart that you're here. And since you stayed to the end and liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe.